Now we want to be able to make our users component. So the goal of this component is that we'll have just a list of users that we put into an ant design table. So we import React, we then create the type props, and we leave it empty because there aren't any props coming in for this particular React component. And so we're calling this component users list. It's a pure component because it doesn't have any state in it. And so we want to use this users query component. And so this is being generated from that Apollo components file. And so we can see at the very bottom, there's this React component that's called your users query component. So we'll just use that here. And so we can go import users query component from the generated and then Apollo components file. So how this component works then is that it just will wrap around your code, but it will give you access to the loading state, whether there's an error, and then also this other object called data, which will have the stuff that we're interested in. So we're just going to say that if it's loading, just return a paragraph tag with loading. If there's an error, say that there's an error. But if there's data and it has users in it, and if the users, the length of it's going to be an array. If it's greater than 0, then we can actually display a table. So this table component requires two different parts. So one is the data. So this is like the list of information, and the other one is a list of columns. So we're first building out the data part of it. So it has a key, it has a name, and an email. So we're taking the data that's coming in and we're kind of reshaping it into this new array of objects. So then we need to create our columns. And so we'll have a title, a data index, and a key. And so this is taken right from the Ant Design documentation. So you can definitely consult this if you have any questions about how you actually do this. Okay, so then I have this component table, which will take in columns and then data source. To make sure I import it up above from Ant Design, Ant D. And then we also add a block that says whether there's users or not. Yeah, so make sure you add that. So we can export it here, and then we can import it onto our main page. So I add an H3 tag where I say our users list, and then I can just import the user component right here. So we can save it, and we can see that it's there and it says no users yet because we had that block at the end that said, okay, if I couldn't find a user list that's greater than 0, it would just say no users.